I absolutely love this. The Habs prospect camp is coming up soon, and the Montreal Canadiens NHL.com website highlighted some players to look out for, including one name that we are hyped more than almost any other player for, Jesse, and it's not the name you guys are expecting. We're going to get into that. Plus, some Habs have already stepped on the ice in Brossard, as most of the players are already out there, a lot of the stars skating, and I feel like it's the earliest that we've seen that happen in a long time. Plus, a quick note on Cole Caufield changing his number. All that coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. And we're going to open up, Jesse, with Cole Caufield. And look, this is fantastic. I'm sure most of you have already seen this. If you want to see it again, I suggest sticking around just to hear our thoughts on it. But you can jump ahead to some of the prospect and camp stuff if you wish. However, we're going to talk a bit about this. Of course, Cole Caufield officially changing his number to 13. Some people thought it was just for this season. From what I read, it seems like this is a permanent change, Jesse, and I don't mind it. It's the number he wore with the U.S., I think the National Development Program, and when he was playing at the Worlds. Cole Caufield wearing number 13, and he had this to say. Feel free to pause and take a read through it. Of course, it's to honor Johnny Gaudreau, his hockey idol, right? Rest in peace, Johnny Hockey, and of course, Matthew Gaudreau. He said 22's been amazing, but his deep condolences for Johnny Hockey and his whole family. Jesse, this is not something I expected, but something that absolutely warms my heart, and I love this number change. I think it suits him very well, and I think it's just really awesome to honor his hockey hero in this way.
It's a wonderful tribute, by Cole Caufield, but also for us as Habs fans, the fact that when we see that number 13 on his sweater every other night, basically, that we're going to be thinking of Johnny Gaudreau as well. And in fact, he was kind of the reason why he even wore number 13 in the first place. So it's really just coming full circle here. You have to feel like Cole Caufield is going to be motivated next year. Wearing that number is like, you don't do it lightly. You're going to feel like you're going to want to live up to the standards of that number, of that player. For me, it's like, even prior to this, I was feeling like 35 goals for Caufield, probably as a minimum, maybe 35 to 37. You have to feel like with this number change, he's going to be motivated. He's going to be having a career year this year.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. And again, it's such a cool thing to see. And I think you made a good point of like living up to that expectation, and there are already people being negative, but we're not going to focus on that. This is an incredibly positive gesture. I know some people are already getting their Caufield number 13 jerseys, and hey, maybe I'll get one of my jerseys customized to this soon, because honestly, I can't even think at this point of a better person to put on the back. Jesse, let's move on quickly to the next topics of the video, though, and we're going to get into the actual camp. Not even really camp, just kind of guys skating in Brossard at the practice facility, and it is finally starting. We have been waiting for hockey for so long, and to see the boys out on the ice here, the full list of players. We already saw Line in the past day or two. The full list of players, according to Luc Jelena: Line, Suzuki, Evans, Barron, Newhook, Matheson, Slafkovsky, Savard, Anderson, Guhle, Xhekaj, Montembeault, and Roy, with Caufield, Primeau, Dach, and Gallagher arriving in just a few days this weekend. Jesse, am I crazy, or is this like the earliest we've seen this many of the top players skating together before a season? Maybe I'm just misremembering. Maybe it's just, again, being biased in the present, saying like, this Habs team is different, but it's still really cool that we're here so early in September, seeing all these guys coming together to really try and make this a huge season for the team.
It's one of the earliest start times, and the boys are just really excited. I think that's part of it, just getting on the ice. Really nice for Patrik Laine. You have to feel like coming back from injury, the quicker that you can get back on the ice, kind of start shaking that rust off, the better. But for me, it's just showing that motivation, because he doesn't need to be at camp. And by the way, looking very good.
Looking as huge. As he does.
Looking huge on the ice, taking a lot of space as he should, which is great. Showing those quick hands, showing those creativity right off the bat. So really nice to see that they're coming, and obviously getting to meet, getting to play a little bit with Suzuki right off the bat. So you can just tell with the rookie showcase only 2 weeks away, the boys are excited.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we're getting so close to hockey, as Luc Jelena, as you alluded to. The start of the camp is also on the 18th. We got the rookie showcase. We got Mailloux and Hudson there at their own prospect. I think there's something else there that they're at, the prospect showcase, something like that. And the Habs camp itself starts in 2 weeks. And the golf tournament's Monday, September 16th. Guys, we're getting closer and closer. Yes. I also wanted to mention, too, that we see Xhekaj mentioned once here, but I saw on Reddit someone saying that they saw on Twitter, and I went to Twitter and found this. Arber and Florian's mom posted a picture of Arber and Florian going together, Jesse, to the camp. I mean, I didn't necessarily see Florian Xhekaj on the ice, but I think it's possible he's there. Maybe before we get into the next section, which is, somewhat heavily focused on a certain guy that I won't necessarily name. How cool is it also just to see like this combination of young guys, not even just Arber and Florian, but to see the amount of young guys that are going to come up and have this fight for a roster spot this season. That's maybe getting me the most giddy, to see how these guys go up against each other.
Right. And who's going to come out on top? I think Hudson's probably a clear indicator to kind of make the team, but who else could another rookie kind of sneak his way? We know that Arber did it not too long ago. But speaking of the Jack Eyes, what's better than one Jack Eye? Two Jack Eyes. And we know that Florian's, he's going to be coming in gunning. He's going to be looking to make some noise as only a Jack Eye can do because he really wants this spot.
Yeah, he does. And I think it's going to be so fun. You know, we're just going to get into the last topic. Because, look, there's other guys we want to talk about. But Florian is just this one guy that I wanted to hone in on. Because, like, the Montreal Canadiens themselves posted this to NHL.com. And it was an article talking about 5 players to watch in the Prospect Showdown. They said, spoiler alert, there are more than 5. You know, they got some games up coming against the Leafs. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly what's going on here. There's so much hockey stuff coming at us in the next week or two. It's absolutely insane. I'm losing track of what's the showcase, what's the showdown, when's the camp, all this crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, I wanted to talk first. I mean, look, we talk a lot about Hudson, Beck, and Mailloux. We kind of know those expectations. I wanted to talk just for a quick second, Jesse, about Reinbacher before we get into Florian as well, because let's be honest, Florian does stand out amongst this picture of other top prospects. But they basically just said, you know, he's in for a good camp, I think. Like, he's in for showing what he can actually do. Not to mention some honorable mentions in Adam Engstrom and Filip Mesar. But, Jesse, of those guys shown, I mean, Florian may be the biggest wild card, but I think Reinbacher arguably has the most yet to prove at this level. And I think he's in for something quite big.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bacher. The more that I'm watching him play, seeing clips of him in the offseason, like, this guy can really skate. He is going to be so much better than we think. You know, it's going to be the question of how much time he really gets with the Habs this year. But I believe, like, in his time with the Habs, like, it's almost going to be between him and Hudson of, like, we're going to ask who are the biggest standouts. Now, I know Reinbacher might not get as many games as Hudson does at the NHL level this year, but I think he's going to be one of the biggest standouts for us just in terms of how good this player is.
Yeah, I think he's, again, he has that poise, he has that smoothness, the way he skates around, the way he moves, the things he does. I think it's just a matter of time before it kind of clicks. Like, the skills, the movement, all this stuff is there. It's just a matter of putting it all together. But other than Reinbacher, we got to talk about our boy Florian. And you look at that list of players, Hudson, of course, second round, Beck, second round, Mailloux, first round, Reinbacher, fifth overall. These are all the top prospects in the system. And then you got Florian as this other guy they have listed, Jesse, as we alluded to earlier. He's 20, but he knows the importance of rookie camp. The Hamilton, Ontario native watched his brother Arber, like you said, emerge. And Florian had a massive year last year, boosting his offensive production by a ton, scoring over 30 goals in the OHL. I think this could be really interesting. I really am excited to see what he does against the Leafs. You know, this is like the time to go out and show your physicality, show what you got, because you're now jumping to a much higher level of competition. This isn't the OHL anymore. That's the one thing, the one hurdle that we've often talked about with Florian Xhekaj. He has the physical tools. He's starting to put his offensive game together, but will his speed be good enough at that, you know, higher NHL or bubble NHL level that this prospect showdown is going to be, or will they kind of fall flat? I think regardless, though, if he makes a physical presence, he's going to get noticed just like his brother did.
Yeah, he's going to bring that energy, which is so huge, and what you look for in your bottom six. You know, he's really kind of like the dark horse, the dark unicorn kind of going into this tournament, because not only can he kind of mix it up and provide the energy, which you really love in a Habs versus Leafs games, but also he's helped by the fact that he increases offensive production by 160% last year. Yes, you heard correctly. This guy is not just a one-trick pony. He can do more. Okay, enough with the horse references. Okay. This guy can do it all, though. Like, for me, it's just a player like that where you're playing with that heart, that grit, and then you show that you got more than that, a little bit of offense. We'll see if that might just be enough to earn him a spot in the NHL.
Yeah, he's a stallion. I had to throw one more in there. There's probably a lot more. But what if you guys just left your best Florian Xhekaj horse puns or unicorn puns in the comments? I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. Like the ones that you like the best down below. I don't know how many of you are making it to this point in the video, but you're very right, Jesse. He's not a one-trick pony. I did it again. He can do everything. It's just a matter of whether he'll be able to do it at this higher level. And I think this year is going to be very telling for him, just like, you know, that kind of first year after, well, I guess not even really being drafted for Arber, Xhekaj was very telling for him. So seeing Florian at this weekend, seeing him in the Habs prospect camp, don't expect him to make the Habs straight out of camp. I don't expect him to, if his career trajectory leads to him making the Habs, I don't expect that to happen for at least a couple of years, but tracking his progression, seeing how he does at this higher level is going to be very, very important. But let us know your thoughts on all that. Maybe a couple of horse or unicorn puns down below. below as well. We'd love to hear from you, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. The support's been crazy, and we're just getting closer and closer to hockey season. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.